Thank you for listening. We hope you all enjoyed part one of those aha moments with Mr. Kirk Harper and digging into that betting house history, right?
Yeah, the inner circle.
The inner circle.
I also say that because I am also in the inner circle.
It's so funny too because I remember when I first heard that concept of 6 degrees, you know, you're like, oh,
me
really?
too.
Like, I know everybody in the world? It became
fascinating. I know.
Yes. And
I thought about it a lot.
Thought about it. I'm in. Like, it was just such and I think that was the first time I really remembered noticing that on a real level, is even just early on. Like, oh, okay, this musician knows this. They're part of our family, that friend, this person. And all of a sudden, you're one of the people in your close circles, playing drums for Korn. You're like, what the hell? Yeah, this is crazy.
How do we get here?
Yeah, exactly.
That's funny.
But, and Kirk was a big part of that. And it's so funny, too. We'll get into this in part 2 a little bit more about just some of his songwriting style and everything. And but it's so funny to me because I didn't realize until we started doing this podcast just how much people with that kind of funk, fast, kind of rhythmic kind of vibe influence. I did some hip hop type rapping and Core Factor, and I've always loved that kind of side of music. And I've always loved that kind of side of music, but doing this I realized, okay, we have Kirk and he was influenced by those funk roots and he brought a lot of that to the table and influenced me. Even Drew on his side, it was more punk, but it was that same kind of fast,
undertone.
Yes, it's so funny. I never realized how much that influenced me.
And you don't realize until you start breaking down the elements, because some of those elements aren't necessarily so obvious and up front. In some of the more modern music, rap and whatever, rock and stuff like that. So it's buried deeper now. So many things, elements on top of it with all this stuff, but it's still so much of everything we like goes back to funk, jazz, and blues. It's true.
Speaking of that, those roots, it's so funny that I never really thought about it before, but Kirk and I really had that thing in common, which is we wanted to write songs and just tell stories, and
you needed to get it out of you.
Yeah, we had lots of ideas, and it's so hard to try to get people like, hey, aren't you excited about this too? Play this music with me. And you're like, fine, I'm just going to learn how to play everything myself and do it myself.
Yeah, that's a pretty daunting task.
But it just happens organically, though.
Yeah. Well, in your environment, it definitely did. You had a teacher of each.
I'm thinking of are.
Yeah, exactly. You had a teacher of each. So.
Well, that's true. That's true.
It became a little
but
more...
the desire was there to learn them, but when not everybody does that.
Right.
Some people just go deep on their thing, right? And I think, too, him... coming from drum roots too, because he was a drummer for so long. We'll touch on this a little bit more in part 2, but I think that's also probably what made him successful in music to bond with bandmates, because he wasn't a prima donna singer, right? He was used to lugging around tons of drum gear, so it was no thing to
and being in the
PA
background more, because the drummers are just geographically to the band are sort of not up front and not, like you said, kind of diva singer. So even though he's a big personality, like that is an aspect of that role that it sort of provides a level of, I guess, like humility in a way.
It's weird because even the biggest showman like Tommy Lee and those kinds of people, there's still a humbleness a lot of times to drummers, I feel like. I think maybe that's why people dig drummers. Everybody wants to be a drummer, you know what I mean? It's like,
I wanted to be a drummer.
It's cool. The groove gets you, but then they always seem so laid back and just like doing their thing, and and that's very much him, so anyway, we'll wrap this up. We hope everybody tunes in for part 2. It's going to be a great one. So for Boombox Music Talk, I'm Mark.
And I'm Krish.
And we urge you to be like water
and go with the flow. This has been a Wizard Studios production.
Oh my God, Star Child, citizen of the universe, recording angels, we've returned to claim the pyramid. Partying on the mothership, I am the mothership connection. I never heard that. Home of the brothers, awesome. The extraterrestrial brothers, dealers of funk, uncut funk, the bomb. Coming to you directly from the Milky Way, top of the chocolate Milky Way, 500,000 kilowatts of P-funk power. So kick back and dig while we doing it to you in your eardrums. Oh, me, I'm known as Lollipop Man, alias the long-haired sucker. My motto is, make my funk the P-funk. I want my funk uncut.